what are your expectations for the Chiefs this season?
You know, first of all, I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't think they'll win the division. 11-12 wins. I know it's a shocker to many people's system, but you think about it, the Chargers are coming. And the reason that they're coming in this situation, if you look at Harbaugh, second, third year in the NFL, any program that he takes over, that program tends to get better. They were a playoff team a year ago, and I think even though they've retooled their offensive line in Kansas City, they're getting Rashee Rice back. Obviously, Travis Kelce has lost a little bit of weight. He feels re-energized again. They bring in Hollywood Brown back. They got a nice defense. They didn't lose too much, but I still worry a little bit about the left tackle spot. One of the problems for the Kansas City Chiefs over the years has been the offensive line. Can that offensive line stand up? Can they hold up the whole course of the season so he's not running around, getting beat up, put on his back on a consistent basis? And if they do that and they keep him upright, I think they're a 12-win team. I mean, there's nothing wrong with winning 12 games a year and making it to the postseason. I just don't think we're going to see the same Kansas City Chief team, and I know it hurts the soul of Kansas City Chief fans and fans of Patrick Mahomes to think that we're going to see them. I think it is, Joy, the 8th straight time that they host the AFC Championship game, or they're in the AFC Championship game. I don't think that'll be the case.
Wait, so they're going to win 12 games?
Yeah, I think they're 11-12.
How many games the Chargers winning?
Chargers might win 12-13, but it'll be a tiebreaker type situation. That's what I believe. Doesn't mean I'm wrong.
The Chargers are going to win the AFC?
I think they're going to win the AFC West. That's not necessarily the AFC Conference, but the AFC West, which is a starter.
Okay.
You win your division, you get a home playoff game, and then we go from there.
All right. Paul, what are your expectations for the Chiefs?
My expectations is Super Bowl or bust. Listen to this. This team, you got to understand this. This team last year that I watched every week, I didn't go a week without watching Kansas City. They were carried by the defense. As great as Mahomes been in his career, he didn't have a good year for me. He wasn't in the Pro Bowl. He wasn't in MVP talks. Think about this. If Burrow would have lost one game as a starter, MVP. He wasn't even in the MVP talks, losing only once. They were they like 10-0 before they took their first L, something like that? And we still wasn't talking about him for the MVP. It was all year Lamar, all year Josh Allen, because it was carried by the defense. Now, we fast forward, got beat down in the Super Bowl, motivation. That's what I hear in that speech. I heard that. I heard motivation. And Travis Kelce like, what? I lost 25 pounds? That sounds like motivation to me, too. This team is a motivated team that's coming to get what's theirs. All that falling off, because be careful. They know the road. They have a roadmap. They understand the moment in the playoffs, in the championship. No other team has the experience they have when it starts coming crunch time. Think about this. Best team in a one-score game, right? Still that, without even being great, Mahomes. So I have no doubt in my mind there's no way the Chargers win this division based on what I'm hearing coming out of camp and offseason and what they're doing. He even got a new haircut. That ain't the haircut I saw last year. His fade is tight now. That means something when you get that haircut, Joy. When you get that different haircut, you coming out there on that field or in the game, you mean business. So my expectations for the Chiefs bouncing back, I don't expect nothing less than Super Bowl appearance.
You know what's crazy? The Chiefs went 15-1 when their starters played, and Patrick Mahomes is talking like they didn't even make the playoffs. They made the Super Bowl and lost to a great team. But when you hear him talk like that,
right,
he knows the offense underperformed. He knows his side of the ball didn't hold up their end of the bargain. That's all that. The Chiefs won 11 games, one-score games, 8 points or less. 11 games.
Yep.
But they still won. To me, at the end of the day, you just got to win. They ran into an Eagles team that was great. They got blew out, got their doors blown off. And now it's, you look back on the season, they understand the offense was a liability. That was the liability. They didn't hold up their end. And so Patrick Mahomes, refreshed. Travis Kelce, refreshed. Rashee Rice will be coming back from injury. And so to me, it's the hunger because of the way the offense performed. 100%. I'm kind of with Key with this. I don't care how motivated you are. I don't care you saying the Chargers, anytime Jim Harbaugh coaches a team, they don't do very well. They do great in that second year. That second year for Jim Harbaugh, when he coaches the team, they do unbelievable. And so this season in this division is going to be tough, but can Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, can they fix that offensive line? Is Josh Simmons going to be the answer at left tackle? If he's the answer at left tackle, they'll be very good. If not, we're going to see more of the same.
Yeah, until the Chargers do it, I'm going to have to hold on my belief. I'm going to, I walk by sight, not by faith.
I understand.
And the Chargers have convinced me enough times that it's not a good idea. The Chiefs, however, have delivered every single time. And to your
what'd
point,
you say? You walk by who? I like that. Say that one more time.
I walk by sight, not by faith.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Well, don't say it in church because you're going to get scolded.
They're going to be on you.
I'm flipping down and reversing
I'm going to come back to that later.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm chopping and screwing it on purpose. But the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year. We're talking about the Chiefs like they got knocked in the wild card round.
Because they're not winning the division, that's a disrespect. Look, at the end, we don't even know if the Chargers will win it. For all we know, Denver can win the division.
I didn't say it was this. I didn't even get to disrespect yet.
But you said we act like.
Yeah.
So that's like disrespect.
I mean, he's talking about it. The way that we act like the season went for the Chiefs is like it was a disappointing season. They were in the Super Bowl.
I know, Joy, but
for them, that's disappointment.
But at some point,
Super Bowl.
Well, they done lost the Super Bowl a couple times.
Yeah, that's a disappointment for Mahomes.
But at some point, it's going to come to an end for a short period of time. They can't just keep winning every year.
They've been winning every single year.
Yeah, and so were the New England Patriots. And then all of a sudden, there was a 10-year gap, okay, before Tom Brady got back to winning Super Bowls again. All I'm saying is there could be a short window there that closes for them on getting back to an AFC Championship game. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If they did, I'm not going to be surprised. I just think that the Chargers, along with Denver, could create some problems in the division.
I think the division is probably the hardest that it's been since Mahomes has been a starter.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
When you consider that everyone has a quarterback, when you consider that everyone has a coach, and this year, that division with those coaches, it might be the most accomplished division of coaches in NFL history.
Every single coach in the division has won a Super Bowl, except Harbaugh. Right?
Except Harbaugh.
But he's
been to one.
But he's been there.
Yeah. So I think I'm with you on that. I think the division will be much harder than it's been. But the Chiefs are still a big dog.
Okay.
To me. They're getting Rasheed. Is that a big? That sounds like a medium dog. They're getting Rasheed Rice, Hollywood Brown, Sky Moore, and Isaiah Pacheco back as well. And to Paul's point, they considered last year to be a disappointment. So I think they're going to come in very locked in. And, while we're talking about Patrick Mahomes' haircut, Andy Reid is still there. Big Red's still there.
Yeah. Look, the defensive Spagnuolo is there. Spagnola's still there. Andy's still there. Everything's intact.
Chris Jones is a key to that defense.
Chris Jones is still there. They bringing Juju back, Kareem Hunt back. Getting Trey Smith back. I think they got a team. I just think that it's somebody else's turn. Just give somebody else a little taste. That's all. That's all you need to do.
Shake it up a
After
little
that
bit.
performance by the Chargers in the playoffs,
Yeah.
I'm not confident in them.
I understand.
They got under the big lights, which now, if we're going to say they're going to be under the big lights, okay, what's the odd makers? The odd makers don't like them, so why should we?
The odds makers, I'm not worried about them.
I'm just saying, I'm just not confident in a Chargers team. The disappointment that they showed me in that playoff game, Key, it was a meltdown.
In both of their playoff games.
It was a meltdown.
So, TJ, which quarterback has the best chance of winning their first Super Bowl this season? I bet I can guess who TJ
Joy,
would choose.
I asked you to repeat yourself because you said you walk by sight, not by faith.
I do.
And if I recall, if you walk by sight, there's only one guy that's actually been to the Super Bowl out of these three. So I'm going to go with the guy that I know can get there, and that's Joe Burrow. He put a team on his back, and and the defense, if I'm not mistaken, when we went to the Super Bowl, was ranked 17th in the league in total defense. And so when I see somebody do something, I believe they can do it again. I have yet to see Lamar Jackson do it. I've yet to see Josh Allen do it. And so, as Joy Taylor said just about 5 minutes ago, I walk by sight, not by faith.
TJ likes that.
There we go.
Paul, who you got?
Best chance at winning their first Super Bowl? Man, I got to feel like the time is now for Josh Allen. I'm just saying, I think he's the Michael Jordan of football right now. The way he's carrying, he's the LeBron. He's carrying teams that shouldn't be going anywhere great distances. Nobody expected Buffalo to do what they did last year, and it was because of the heroics of Josh Allen. I see nothing changing this year when I look at the schedule. Pretty good schedule. A lot of teams they're going to beat. But I got to believe a motivated Josh Allen. He checked off that MVP off his list. He was like, all right, I've been in the running the last 3 or 4 years. Check. All right, we got off that. We went, we had an opportunity in the AFC title game. Just didn't make it. But look, I feel like he's going to be hungry. I feel like they're going to be motivated with some offseason additions they've added. I don't see why he can't be MVP again and lead Buffalo to their first Super Bowl. Listen, I love Lamar and I love Burrow, and this is not a good time to be a quarterback in this era when you have to play against these legends and you're trying to win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's the gauntlet. It's like, wow, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to do something great between Mahomes, Lamar, and Burrow to get through at least 1 or 2 of those guys to win. That's why I believe a team that comes out of the AFC this year will win the Super Bowl, regardless of Philly and regardless what's on that side. I truly believe that, and I think it'll be Josh Allen this year.
Josh Allen could. Maybe he's close to it. And close, usually when teams are knocking on the door, eventually the door opens for him, like the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson are literally getting better every year in terms of advancing to the second round, the AFC Championship game. The goalpost continues to move on them, right? Oh, he can't win a playoff game. He wins one. Oh, he can't do this. He can't get it. He gets them to the AFC Championship game. When you look at this football team and you look at the additions of Jair Alexander, you look at the additions of DeAndre Hopkins, 2 veteran players that know how to play. They needed help at the cornerback position. They got it. They need a veteran receiver to help them out. They got that. Now when you talk about Lamar Jackson and things that he's capable of doing, here's the problem for them that it scares me to a degree, but then at the same time, if they pass the test, then I'm like, okay, before the bye week, they play 6 games. Their first 5 games are playoff contenders. 2 of those is the Buffalo Bills on opening night, on the road, and then 3 weeks later, I believe it is, they go to Kansas City. If they can pass that 5 of 6 week test, Cleveland is in there somewhere, but who cares about the Cleveland Browns right now? But if they can get past, Buffalo or Detroit, a Kansas City, a Texas team, a Rams team before the bye.
That's a tough schedule.
It's a gauntlet. Oh. So now all of a sudden they get past that gauntlet. You're going to breathe a certain way. You're going to feel good about your position that you in moving forward. So, and their bye comes right, I believe, at right about the right time.
It's right after the Rams.
Yeah, so it comes right at the right time.
What would you hope their record to be after those 6? Because that's a tough 6 games.
If they can go 5-1, they cool. If
they ain't doing that. That's tough.
But going into Buffalo will be something. Going into Kansas City will be something. If they can get that out the way, because I don't really believe in Detroit right now. Detroit lost too much staff-wise for me. When you lose the staff like that.
And the Ravens, they normally dominate the NFC. They normally dominate NFC teams. The Ravens, to me, have one of the top rosters in the league. The Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles have 2 of the best rosters in the league. I can't even argue about. The Ravens have 3 starting corners.
But think about this though: if they get through that gauntlet, let's just say
they get through that 4-2.
They go 4-2.
That's great.
They
6
win
games.
at 4-2.
That's a great 6 games.
They got the Chicagos, the Miamis, the Minnesotas. We don't know about the quarterback. They got Cleveland. They got the Jets, Cincinnati, division rival that they always seem to take care of. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, New England, Green Bay, Pittsburgh again. The second half of their schedule is a win-win if I'm a Baltimore Raven.
I have Lamar as well. I could be talked into Josh Allen. The only thing about Burrow that makes me nervous is I see.
You're not walking by sight on this one.
I see the defense is not quite what it was.
I agree.
The year that they went to the Super Bowl. Now, while I feel like the offense was the key to that, they did have a much better defensive side of the ball. Trey Hendrickson is still working out, so I'm not sure by what I see from the rest of the team, from the other half, the other side of the ball, what the Bengals are going to do. If they can shore that up, I think that, of course, he has done it. It's a tough time, and we have these like pockets of eras in the NFL where you have just a gauntlet of quarterback talent, of coaching talent. We went through the top 10 coaches a few weeks ago. I mean, you can go almost 20 deep with really solid coaches in the NFL right now. So it is just tough. And
I wasn't here for that one.
Were you? Yeah.
I wasn't here. 20 coaches? No, I definitely wasn't here.
Yeah, that's true.
20 coaches in the National Football League at the top?
You don't believe that then, huh?
Oh, my God, no.
There's a lot of good coaches in the NFL right now.
Give me one.
What?
Give me one. Just give me one.
Mike Tomlin.
Okay, so that's one. Give me two.
You're not going to make me list all 30.
No, I don't want you to give me 30. I just want you to
He
give
wants
me
about 5. He wants about 5.
Joy, just give me 5.
Sean McVay.
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
Andy Reid. This is not an order. I'm just naming good coaches.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Sean Payton.
Okay, now that's pretty much
5.
it. That's pretty much it.
No.
What do you mean?
What about the Super Bowl
Jim
winning
Harbaugh,
coach?
Matt LaFleur.
What about
Pete Carroll?
Pete just got back in it.
Y'all ain't even say nothing about the
Aaron
Super Bowl.
Glenn.
The Super Bowl winning coach.
Young.
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni.
Okay, Sirianni.
Sean McDermott. I'm at 11 now.
I'm not big on McDermott as much as everybody else is. I've seen too many in-game decisions cost him. But go ahead. We'll have a.
What? You're not making me list. We'll print it out. I'm right. You're about 18.
No, you're not right, but we're going to let you be right.
I am. Anyway.
About 8 coaches. The rest of them.
There are more than 8 good
about
coaches.
8 good coaches in the league. The rest of them dudes is cap artists. But I'm going to leave that alone.
You're crazy.
They tap water?
Man, you know I know. You know, too. They cap you out. The genius in Miami. He was such a genius for a long time. And all of a sudden, he's going to be, hey, how you doing there, Mike? But anyway, go ahead.
The Ravens will be competing with Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, for the AFC North title. Pittsburgh also added DK Metcalf and Jonnu Smith this offseason to bolster an offense that Steeler legend and our friend Terry Bradshaw said failed Kenny Pickett. Bradshaw echoed a sentiment that Keyshawn often mentions. Young quarterbacks need talent to be successful. Now, Aaron is not a young quarterback, but have the Steelers done enough to build around him this season, Paul?
Man, listen. Yeah, they got DK, lost Pickett, and picked up some instrumental pieces. But when I look at it, I'm not so sure if they've done enough because I felt like he had more talent with the Jets. When you look at it, I mean, Hall, Wilson, Devontae, does Pittsburgh have anything that resembles anything to that?
No.
Man, okay. No, right?
Not on offense.
Well, he plays offense. He's the quarterback. But to his defense, this will be a defensive-led team also, to where he's not going to have to win games for him. He's just going to have to keep it close, don't turn the ball over, lean on the defense, lean on the play calling, and that's it. Now, I do believe they will make the playoffs. I do believe they will challenge the Ravens. When you get to this certain age, we look at Rodgers as a name, and we think it's still the Rodgers from Green Bay. So this is the way I look at it. They haven't done enough because the older you get, the more you need. The older I get, I need a cane. Then I need a wheelchair. Then next thing you know, that's it.
You reverse the order on that.
You know what I'm saying? The more older you get, the more you need. So I don't think they have enough. I mean, it would have been different. They say, hey, we kept DK and Pickett. You know what I'm saying? Pickens. I'd have been like, oh, okay. That would have been something. But, like, I'm putting all my trust in the coaching situation here with the Steelers because definitely Jets' coaching situation and the turmoil they had, that led to their demise. This is more stable. This is a better culture. And I believe they have enough to get to the playoffs, but he needs more around them because he's a lot older.
Are you talking about, Joy, more around him on the offense side of the ball or just the team in general?
I'm assuming that Terry was talking about the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but I think they have. And what they got to really understand is when you go out and you get a dude like a DK Metcalf and you get a Robert Woods coming over from Houston, that's telling me right then and there that there's going to be some similarity of the West Coast offense because you got two different type wide receivers here. You got a big and you got an itty-bitty in Robert Woods that can pick him up and put him down inside the slot where you got a big dude, a DK Metcalf on the outside that can lift the coverage. And then you talk about Warren at the running back position. You bring him back. You let Najee Harris go. You're on the defensive side. You pick up a Darius Slay. You trade for a Jalen Ramsey. So now you know, and you bring in that you give Deshaun Elliott. You still have him in the mix. So that tells me right there that you still going to be a defensive-oriented team with a West Coast-style offense and Jonnu Smith coming over in that trade to help out the tight end situation. I think it's more than enough to help them out because it's a defensive-oriented team. They're not going to try to push the ball down the field all the time. Their passing game is going to eventually become a substitute for their running game because that's what Aaron Rodgers can do best. So I think they've done more than enough for them to be successful.
They've done all that they could to put a collection of talent around them. I would prefer to have George Pickens still be a part of this team,
right.
And then I would say, yeah, they've done enough. I just don't feel like DK is pretty much your only threat on offense that teams are going to be, that they're going to game plan for. DK is the only guy on the offense side of the ball that they're going to game plan for. And so I'm not sure that that's enough. Now, going from the Jets to the Steelers, organizationally, that's going to be an upgrade. And we're going to say, oh, the Jets were a better offense. Oh, defensively, very similar. Pittsburgh Steelers organization, New York Jets, that to me is going to be the upgrade. Mike Tomlin and his coaching is going to be the upgrade. But the talent around them, offensively, the Steelers, they've struggled. They've been a reason the Steelers haven't gone as far as they wanted to go. And so I'm not sure that this is enough. DK, Aaron Rodgers, like Jonnu Smith, like people made a big deal about that. He's a good player. But Jonnu Smith's had one good year in 8 seasons.
Yeah, but come on, though, TJ. Jonnu Smith was with a quarterback in Miami at times that allowed him to flourish and do and show his talents. He was stuck in New England after leaving Tennessee. Then he went to Atlanta. Come on now.
When you say give me the best tight ends, the way y'all just talked about them coaches, you're going to name 8, 9, 10, 11,
Yes,
12, 13 before you get to him.
Based on where his last several years have been, 1,000%.
He's coming off of a career year.
But he's coming off a career year. That's a plus, not a minus.
No, I don't believe it's a minus. I'm saying nobody's going to game plan for him. You game plan for DK Metcalf.
I don't know if they're going to game plan for him or not.
And I just don't. That's not enough. You playing Lamar Jackson twice a year. You gotta put up points, or you putting so much pressure on your defense to hold everybody you play under 20.
For the last,
that's tough.
How long Mike Tomlin been there? 21 years.
21.
For the last, let's call it for the last 20 plus years. Just what you said, putting the pressure on the defense. That's what Pittsburgh does.
Now,
they offense has some good years with Bell and Brown and Big Ben, but that defense, they ain't going nowhere. That's what they built.
This will be
19, right?
19th year.
They better get TJ Watt signed. They better get TJ Watt signed.
They've been playing the same way for 19 years and had a ton of success.
Darnell, can we order one of those mini violins from TikTok? I need to add it to my collection of props. I'm like a prop comedian up here. I don't understand. Is Aaron Rodgers still good or not?
Good for what?
That's what I'm saying.
Good
He
for
need
what?
more.
What do you want him to do, Joy? What are you asking him to do?
Okay, so the Steelers were a playoff team last year.
They'll be a playoff team again this year.
I don't believe so, but they were a playoff team last year. They're going to eventually get the deal done with TJ Watt, we are assuming, right? So they have a great defense. They always have a great defense. They've added DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Kenneth Gainwell, Jonnu Smith, a bunch of stuff to the defense to make the defense even better. I'm just saying, like, when is it actually Aaron's responsibility to, like, do something? Because, like, last year, they won 5 games with all the talent. I get it was the Jets, like, bad situation that he created, but bad
he's not
situation.
in control of that right now, no Joy.
Who?
He's not.
In control of what?
Creating a bad situation like he was with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that yet. We'll see. Okay, but my point is, like, they've done a lot. They've brought in a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
There's not, like, a wide receiver store, okay? So they did what they did. DK is a nice addition. He's a really, really good player. Jonnu Smith is coming off of a career year. They already have other tight ends there. It's already a crowded room, so they can have the options to run different sets. They want to throw the ball more than they're running it anyway. I mean, like, they've done enough.
I think they've done enough.
Or we can stop talking about the Steelers as a real contender, which I am not doing.
Let's just wait to see what it looks like when the season starts.
Okay, we'll wait.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team.
I think they're a playoff team with me and you sharing quarterback duties.
No. Justin Fields, we are about to talk about
They
Justin
went
Fields.
to the
in, like,
playoffs
3
with
blocks.
Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. Stop.
All right.